Hello, hope you guys doing fantastic today. The full build guide for One Punch Titan is here, finally here, after, what was this, like 10 days ago I released the first video, so it's been a while. But it took some time before I, optimized the tree and everything perfectly, so there it is. We're going to talk about everything in this video, and by everything I mean gems, skill gem supports, items, passive tree, short section about leveling, because when it comes to leveling, this build is pretty much the same as the Will Smith I did the previous warrior build. So this is the leveling on warrior right now is like the basic stuff, the most basic stuff ever. So yeah, and we're going to talk about pinnacle content, and I'm going to get into a showcase to people that didn't see the build yet. We're just going to do like a tier 4 Xesht, and we're going to take a look and see what the build is capable of. I'm not going to give you a showcase of map, because the mapping, there are previous videos if someone wants to see, but mapping is basically you just bleeping around, and enemies in maps are generally speaking less tanky than they are here, which means that everything except for rare monsters will die instantly. And that's on a shield version of the build. There's two versions. I'm currently using shield with 74% block. That means that I actually died I died once yesterday on stream, but other than that, and that was a dangerous map, but other than that I haven't died in a long time on this build. So shield version, very comfortable for mapping. I wouldn't say that necessarily hardcore friendly, but still very comfortable for mapping. When it comes to dual two-handed version, you're just going to have area, the entire screen is going to be covered in a leap slam, right? And you're going to one-shot everything in a single leap, including rare monsters. But of course, you're not going to have a shield, so you're going to die occasionally, most likely. So unless someone has a better version of this build with I don't know, evasion ES, something like that, that's going to be more comfortable without using shield, then let me know. But I gotta be honest, it was very fun to play with the shield also, because the area and damage is still very good. So yeah, it is what it is. So we're just gonna finish this off real fast. We have I don't think we have enough time to briefly talk about pinnacle content. I'm going to just say very quickly that after the patch, after the 0.2G patch, where they nerfed Simulacrum, for a test, right? I did Simulacrum, the highest difficulty, tier 4, and we managed to do it first try. That doesn't mean that I would recommend this build to be a Simulacrum farmer, because it wasn't easy. That being said, we did it first try without dying. So I mean, that's cool, I guess. So something that perhaps is going to encourage some people, is that this build can farm Simulacrum if you really want to. Alright, boss is ahead of us. We're going to swap this. What we're going to do is... Oh, I already have Rolling Slam here. +3 Rolling Slam. And we're going to get 100% Aftershock chance. This is not even something that you have to do. Let's see how Xesht is going to go. I mean... I'm not going to I'm not going to play around and say that I don't know how much damage we're going to do, because I do though. I did Xesht on this character 50 times. But yeah. I'm going to hit him once. And we're going to hit him second time. The first hit, 22 million damage. There are tricks, of course, before someone's gonna say, clickbait, you didn't kill him in one hit. See, the game even told you to shut up. But but yeah, there are tips and tricks you can do to do obviously more damage. Because I had the previous video, I showed you guys that I killed him in one Rolling Slam, literally just one Rolling Slam. And of course, you can just keep on going and improving your gear if you want to. I know that it's a meme at this point, pretty much in this channel, that I call my weapons decent, nothing too crazy. But that's just the reality. It is what it is. They're just decent, nothing too crazy. I'm sorry, guys. I am sorry. You got a problem with it? Talk to my lawyer, who doesn't exist, by the way. But that's just not important right now. What's important is a month and a week into the league. This I know that many people have different pace at which they farm currency and stuff like that, but like for after 5 weeks, this is like literally not that insane. It's really not, guys. This is a weapon with 3 stats: physical damage, melee skills, and wed. That's it. And this is the same. It's not that crazy. Like it's. I'm sorry, but that's just the way it is. It's not that crazy, guys. All right. Anyway, I'm gonna shut up because people will get mad. All right. So yeah, this is the damage. We're going to jump right into the explanation because this is going to be a long video. As usual, the build guide videos are very long. I hope you guys don't mind. So we're going to talk about leveling real fast. So leveling is exactly the same as on the previous character. What I mean by that is you literally just start with Rolling Slam, and you use Rolling Slam to stun people, and then explode them with Bone Shatter. And then once you get to skill level 7, I don't know, I don't remember which level that is, like level 21 or something. I don't know, level 21, I think. Once you get to that point, you use Leap Slam instead of Rolling Slam in order to, you know, to what do you call it? Like allow people to get stunned. I forgot how this is called. Hold on. Melee Mage Strike, primed for stun. There we go. Primed for stun. You prime enemies for stun with Leap Slam at this point, and you just explode them with Bone Shatter. And this is literally what you do until level 70, 75, 80 if you want. It doesn't matter. Bone Shatter is overpowered, and it will get nerfed, boys. How do I know that this is going to happen? Because literally for test, just to test it out, I tried like Bone Shatter with a white weapon on a tier 15 map, and it was still, once you get to the point where you can explode them, Bone Shatter with impact shockwave still just one-shots packs, even with a white weapon. I'm dead freaking serious. Even with a white weapon, it's still one-shots packs. It's just the shockwave. The thing is that it, like, for a level 19, the fact that the shockwave does 700% damage is just stupid because it overlaps. So you're gonna hit more people with this. It's all gonna overlap, and even rare monsters will get one shot with like some pathetic weapon. It's ridiculous how strong it is. So for early mapping and throughout the entire campaign, Leap Slam into Bone Shatter literally, and you're fine. Of course, on Leap Slam you have to put Brink support and Overpower support. Overpower support for 50% more stun. What is this? More stun build up, 50% more with Overpower support, and Brink support so that you can't fully stun enemies. This means this is a very good support. This means that you always, if you don't kill the enemy in a single hit with Leap Slam, which sometimes is going to happen, but sometimes, you're going to always be able to stun them and explode them in a huge shockwave with Bone Shatter. So that's just, it doesn't get easier than that, right? It's just really good, really strong. It is what it is. Now, I think we're going to start with skill gems, right? I think I always start with skill gems, so let's just go with it. So, Leap Slam. Should I just... it doesn't matter. So, Leap Slam. Leap Slam, I think, is one of the, if not the best clearing skill in the game for Warrior, in my opinion. The amount of AoE that you can get if you fully invest into AoE, I'm including these passives and these passives, is just absurd. It really is. I could have shown you, but I showed you guys in the first video I recorded from this build how stupid area can get. On top of that, if you're willing to like sacrifice some stuff and invest into attack speed, like these nodes, for example, over here, it's reasonably fast, and it's ridiculously huge, this AoE, right? And the Leap Slam will be you know, decently fast, let's just say. Some people will call it slow because they played the Lightning Spear and nothing else, but it is what it is, right? We're playing Warrior here. We're not playing Javazan. So so Leap Slam, Reach, and Magnified Effect, these are basically two reasons why the area can get to such ridiculous degree. Because they added reach support to the game. The less accuracy problem is completely irrelevant for most of the mace builds, because maces have almost every single one has 5% crit chance. Every single two-handed mace has a 5% crit chance. There is one-handed mace that has 8%, but that's literally it. So and two-handers are obviously better, just straight up, because you can scale +2 skill levels so hard with two-handed weapons that is just insane damage. So resolute technique, your hits cannot be evaded, and that's absolutely beautiful. That's absolutely beautiful because we don't need to care about accuracy anyway. We don't care about map mods like monsters are evasive. We don't care about rare mods like evasive or stuff like that. We don't care about any of this. We always hit. So this 80% less accuracy rating on top of that does nothing. Then we have magnified effect for additional 30%. This would be even crazier if they didn't nerf it from 40%. It's just absolutely insane. As a caveat, as a reference, I tested it with this support that gives you 50% more area, but it puts 8-second cooldown on the skill that you use with it. And the area was like, I think it went like to about here. It's like it went way over like this side of the screen. It just like went like way up. I think it went around to this point, which is like, of course you're not gonna be using leap slam every 8 seconds. That's not worth it. But I just wanted to tell you guys like how stupid this gets. Then momentum, 40% more damage guaranteed pretty much every single time. This 2-meter radius is just so easy to what's the word, to like fulfill this this requirement, because like look how little it is. That was already I already got here the 40% damage boost. There's gonna be like a green thing when you start getting the boost, when you get the requirement done. Your character is going to glow in green or something like that. So it's very easy. You literally have to leap in the same spot for this to not give you the damage boost. So 40% more damage, no question about it. Then Aftershock and Reverberate is the combo that gives us, and this is one of the main reasons why I love Titan and Leap Slam on Titan so much, is because the combo here gives you a 100% Aftershock chance, combining this with this passive over here, Airbreaker, and you don't even need this at this point. I went for it because it felt really good while mapping, so I went for this, and these are like damage nodes anyway, so you know, this cluster generally speaking feels good. This is a lot of damage here, but you don't even need this. Just with this 1 point and this, and these two supports, you have a 100% chance to Aftershock. And I feel Aftershock it's going to be really hard to come back to not having Aftershocks with like a different build or something like that. It will be really difficult. I will admit right now, because it feels so good. To those that don't know, Aftershock literally repeats what you did. So for example, if you're going to use a Warcry, you're going to use Sleep Slam. You did 5 million damage with the Sleep Slam. The Aftershock is going to do literally the same damage. It's going to do exactly the same damage. This is basically double damage, but the double damage goes off after a second. In some cases, this is even better. Number one, you get 40% increased area from Aftershocks that you create yourself, which is exactly this. And secondly, what I noticed that, I mentioned that in the previous video, 2 videos ago, when you leap into you know, the screen next to you, if you just leap into monsters, the monsters from the sides will start coming towards you, and then the Aftershock, you don't have to do anything, the Aftershock is going to kill them. So this is also like a good safety measure. It's just it's just so hard to understate how it's so hard to explain how good Aftershock is. It really is. And with this setup, with 2 area gems, with Aftershock gems, and with 40% more damage from momentum, this creates a skill that just clears maps exceptionally well. And I know that there are some people that, for example, love Stampede more. I don't like Stampede. Some people that say that Stampede is freaking 2 times faster. I completely disagree with that. I think that the speed-wise, they're generally speaking the same. I don't know where they're getting this double speed from Stampede. I really don't. But yeah, Leap Slam is going to be fantastic. It's not going to be clunky. because Stampede, sometimes you're just gonna get blocked really hard and it's just pain in the ass. When it comes to Leap Slam, there is one little bug that is annoying sometimes in some maps. You can jump into a wrong pixel, and what I mean by that, like a piece of furniture or something like this, like a table, and even though visually, let's just say that I jumped into this, right? Visually, my shockwaves and my damage went off, but I wouldn't do damage. I just wouldn't do damage because I jumped into a wrong pixel. And that is a small bug that is sometimes, you're not going to see that very often. Sometimes it's annoying, but generally speaking, not a big deal. I would say that Leap Slam still feels way better to use than Stampede. But there is like a bunch of people that are fans of Stampede. There's a bunch of people that are fans of Leap Slam. So you can't please everyone. Now, Rolling Slam. I think that Rolling Slam is possibly the best damage ability for this build if you want to combine damage with quality of life. Because the hardest hitting skill in a game, in my opinion, is Sunder. Nothing beats it. Yes, I know I'm including the bleed builds that just do like 200 million or something to Xesht. No, Sunder will still hit harder with the same investment, or like with like super high investment. Sunder will hit straight up for 200 million. It's gonna freaking one shot Xesht in a 6-man party. You can push further. I think that Sunder could reach like 300 million damage per hit. That's just how math works. It's long story short, I do believe that Titan, maybe not Titan, maybe this will be something like Blood Mage, not necessarily Titan, but Sunder is the hardest hitting skill in a game. Period. I really don't think you can beat this. That being said, Sunder for this build in particular, which you could see in the previous video if you're interested, would require some, you have to jump over many annoying like things that are not necessarily worth it, because this Rolling Slam does already so much damage that I just don't see a point. So instead, what I decided to do is just stick to Rolling Slam. And Rolling Slam, we have with Execute 50% more damage. We're gonna get to why this works always with when we get to itemization. But 50% more damage, then 35% more damage from Rage Forged. We'll consume 10 rage, but we're also gonna get to that why. This is support that I use. Primal Armament, self-explanatory, 25% more. Consecrated Effect and Close Combat. Of course, against bosses, once again, Aftershock, 100% Aftershock is recommended because the Reverberate works perfectly fine and perfectly well with Rolling Slam. Reverberate gives you 15% increased chance to cause Aftershock for every quarter second of attack time. Guess what? It takes a long time for Rolling Slam to like finish the entire animation. So this one support will it will make us jump from 47% Aftershock chance to 103. So you literally just get this one support and you have guaranteed double damage, right? It's crazy. Of course, I'm going to talk about it now. The way I one-shot Xesht in yesterday's video is I actually forgot to put Reverberate here, and I hit the Xesht with Close Combat, and I got lucky. I got this 47% proc off, and Xesht got one-shot. Right, that's literally what happened. Of course, you could do, for example, something like Momentum. There is a reason why I am not the biggest fan of Momentum, and the reason is you're gonna see 40% more damage when you see this green thing. But sometimes, occasionally, you're gonna get blocked on boss or something like that if you're gonna use it too early or like too close to the boss, and you're not gonna get the damage bonus if you're gonna get blocked. Because you're just standing still at this point, and you're not going to get that damage bonus. So you could totally, if you're good at the game, and you know how to, like, calculate the distance perfectly and not get blocked every single time, you can use Momentum instead. 40% more damage, that's absolutely fantastic. But if you don't want to, you can literally just not change gems at all and use Close Combat. The last option is to use Reverberate for a guaranteed double damage, right? As you can see, it will always Aftershock. And I'm going to talk about this very quickly. The first slam will get an Aftershock effect, and the second one also will get the Aftershock effect. So both of these will get their separate Aftershocks, right? You're going to hit with first slam for 4 million. you're gonna get 4 million aftershock from that. You're gonna hit with second slam for 8 million, you're gonna get 8 million aftershock with that. It's just how it works. So rolling slam, this is it. Next up, Infernal Cry, the most busted skill in the game. Okay, easy there. Infernal Cry is a buff that is absolutely overpowered. You perform a war cry, and depending on what is the total power of enemies around you, you're going to get a massive damage boost for your next attack, and not necessarily for just for next attack, because you can, for example, get vocal empowerment, and it's going to be 2 attacks instead. Next to the boss, if you're next to the boss, you're always getting maximum. Not necessarily the boss, next to unique monster. So, for example, Rogue Exile. If you're next to unique monster, you're always going to get the maximum bonus because they have 20 power. So you're always going to get 150% of your damage as extra fire damage. That is just... This will get nerfed. This will get nerfed for sure, guys. If this will not get nerfed, you're going to see like warriors like one-shotting pinnacle bosses always. You know, unless they're going to nerf other skills by like 10 times. But, you know, the Infernal Cry is so overpowered. It's like insane how much damage, especially that the Infernal Cry works kind of like perfectly with maces and slams, because generally speaking, you're going to be attacking not very often, but you're going to hit hard with these slow weapons and these fixed attack rates and stuff like that, attack times. So Infernal Cry, you're gonna with maces you're gonna hit once or twice, but with Infernal Cry, both of these attacks will be giga boosted, will be like astronomically boosted. So, and the best part about this is that you additionally, on top of this huge damage boost, you get even more damage, because you get Premeditation support for more damage. You get Enraged Warcry for more damage, 30%. Then you get, well, the rest doesn't really matter. The rest doesn't really matter. Like Tireless, it's okay. Not necessarily something you don't even need. I don't think you even need for like to use like Greater Jeweler Orb on this skill. 3 would be enough, like a Lesser Jeweler. With this, and Ingenuity. Another thing that you could use on this build, you don't really need to, because you generate rage passively. But what you could use on a different build, obviously, what is fantastic, is I hope I'm gonna find that. Oh, there it is, Raging Cry. That is fantastic because you get 4 rage per 5 power every time you use a war cry. That is 16 rage next to unique enemies. 16 rage next to unique enemies. That is a lot. That is like a big like boost of rage immediately, right? So Raging Warcry, probably the last support that I would use. Not on this build, because this build doesn't need it. But yeah, these are the supports I would use. In terms of how important they are, this would go something like this, right? Cooldown is nice, and then this one is like, it's okay. Sometimes it's going to help you a little bit while mapping. So then we have Solar Orb. The sole purpose of Solar Orb is to give you not rage, no. Is to give you fire exposure. Fire exposure, you put it in there, then you get exposure applied by supported skills have 20% increase effect for a total of 24. It says here that you get fire exposure for 8 seconds on igniting the target. Guess what? When the Solar Orb is on top of the boss, it always ignites. So you always get exposure. So that feels very nice. On top of that, I put here Rage Generation. I don't even know for what reason. And then Life Regeneration. Life Regeneration is actually good because this build focuses quite a bit on regeneration to mitigate all the high life costs and also the degen from Rage and the gloves. So as you're going to see, 650 regeneration, just because of that 2% from Solar Orb, goes from 650 to 840. So even on Simulacrum or something like that, if you decide to do Simulacrum on this build, like having that amount of regeneration is not like irrelevant. That is not irrelevant, dude. It's really not. So Solar Orb is pretty nice for that. Then we have Flammability. Once again, more skill effect duration just for quality of life, and then more cast speed, whatever, and then increased magnitude. Literally, if you're gonna find something else that I could put in the curse that I don't know of for some reason, let me know. But I think that the only one that is realistically speaking useful I don't care about this faster activation stuff and stuff like that. I'm just going to say that for a record. So if you have something that will boost this curse even further, then let me know. But I don't think so. And that obviously is used to reduce the resistance of enemies even further. We only do fire damage, so this solar orb fire exposure with flammability works perfectly fine. And then Berserk, very important in this build. At least it's very important if you have the gloves. If you don't have the glove, it's still important. Because Berserk is very good. Probably the best persistent buff that warriors get. Berserk makes you lose your rage. Don't worry about physical attack leech because we don't really utilize that. But what it does, it increases the effect of rage. Rage is a powerful damage multiplier that gives you 1% more attack damage. It's a multiplier, it's not increased. 1% more attack damage for every rage you have. So with 47 rage, let's just say it's going to be easier for me to calculate. Excuse me. Let's just say you have 50 rage. That's 50% more damage. You're doing half more damage, right? With Berserk, let's just say that Berserk grants you 60% increased rage effect. Instead of 50% more damage, all of a sudden you do 80% more damage. That is absolutely insane. 80% more damage is absolutely insane. It's almost double damage. And it doesn't really take much investment, right? To like get this going, like 30 spirit, like, you know, I invested these few points here, boom, like I have 80% more damage. Boggers, right? Let's go. And I have vitality for regeneration, extra regeneration, very nice. And then cannibalism, maximum life recovered on kill when a supported skill is active. That's very, very good. Of course, you can get this something very similar on. I'm not sure why they nerfed that. By the way, this patch by 50%. It was 4%. I'm not sure why they nerfed that and they didn't nerf Jules, because Jules still roll 2%. You can get this a 15 spirit worth support as a Jewel modifier. It rolls up to 2% maximum life recovered on kill on a single Jewel. So I think that they should have kept it 4% or nerfed Jewels too. I'm not like a huge advocate for nerfs, but you know, just saying. Still very good because this will keep your face pretty while mapping. So very, very, very good still. And honestly, 2% is still enough. It's still enough. You kill so many monsters, like one leap slam, you're gonna kill 20, 30 monsters. You go from half HP to full every time you leap. It's really good. And then Herald of Ash, it's freaking sad. Herald of Ash, empty. I just don't know what to put in this support. Of course, there is this one support, this one lousy support you can use, which is also known as Fire Mastery, I believe. Yeah, you can I mean, if you have nothing to do with your life, you can put this thing in there. But like, I use Herald of Ash for 2 reasons. Number 1, because I have nothing else to use. Number 2, because it does help a little bit. It got buffed. It got buffed this patch. It does help a little bit. But what pains me incredibly hard is that this skill is not considered an attack, which kind of sucks. Other heralds are attacks. Even Herald of Blood, even the new heralds are considered attacks. I don't know about the Herald of the poison one. But this one is not an attack, and that would work perfectly fine for warriors. Take a guess why? Because warriors, generally speaking, invest all these points into area anyway. So it would be great if this was an attack, but it's not. And the area on this skill will never be amazing. It's very hard to scale generic area. You know, you have a little bit here. You have like a little bit, like you have 50% here. This is for attacks also, so never mind. So you have area here. There's probably some other area you can get. The area on Jules got nerfed too. So it's just, I don't know, man. I use Herald of Ash. You could use, what you could use? You could use Overwhelming Presence. I guess would be okay. It would allow you to stun enemies more easily while mapping. On bosses doesn't really matter, but in maps you will be able to stun enemies more easily. So I guess you could get this damage boost more easily from Skull Crusher. That'll be okay, but honestly, I still keep Herald of Ash because, you know, just because it looks cool. Its functionality is debatable, but it looks cool. It is what it is. All right, we're done with gems. I've pretty much, I think I talked about everything I wanted. So, oh holy smokes, it's 30 minutes already. All right, so first we're gonna talk about ascendancy. I have something to talk about here. First of all, hulking form is not debatable. If you play Titan and you don't take hulking form, let me give you my PayPal. Okay, I'm just kidding. But anyway, hulking form is mandatory, guys. It's obvious. We're playing Titan, we're taking hulking form, right? That's just how it goes. Then Airbreaker, 25% aftershock chance is fantastic. And then you have an option. For mapping and for bossing, you don't really need this. I tested it. I played with and without it for a long time. It is okay to have, but you don't need this. You just do too much damage anyway. So what you can do to feel tankier is you can drop these and get these. That is also extra regeneration, which is going to be nice. 50% more maximum life. So on Titan, with gear that is better than what I have, you can definitely get to like 5k life. And with 5k life with a shield, I would say that at this point, this is like hardcore viable. Because hardcore players don't run like dangerous map mods, right? Like dangerous, like extra damage, 50% more damage on monsters plus onslaught, something like that. They don't run these. I died yesterday once on a map like this because I got one shot by a boss. He had like 55% increased damage and like increased attack speed and movement speed and something like that. And with this, I probably wouldn't. I would probably live still. But I would say that if you wanted to play hardcore, like with 5k life and block, like always having the shield up, like you could probably still do it, right? But this is up to you. If you want to take this for extra clear and damage, or if you want to take this for like basically, you know, never dying, then it's up to you, right? So now that I think of it, I didn't talk about the passive skill tree for like super low levels. But at the same time, it's going to be exactly the same as it is for Will Smith. Literally exactly the same. So I'm probably going to like paste that, or like, you know, if someone just wants to see how the skill tree in the campaign looks like, you could just check my Will Smith build guide on Mobalytics. So I guess that will work fine. But let's just talk about this one for now. So we have, you know, strength here, relentless for regeneration. Very nice that, you know, we can get like an early regeneration node here. I'm going to talk about the generic passive tree. Then we're going to talk about weapon sets, and then we're going to talk about jewels. So regeneration here, it's very nice that we're pathing through this because we do need to get some regeneration. Regeneration on this build is fantastic because it covers two problems at the same time. One related to these gloves. These gloves make you lose 5% of maximum life per second. On top of that, with Berserk, that's 10% already. And then on top of that, what you have to worry about is pretty high cost on Leap Slam, right? So all these things combined, regeneration solves two problems at the same time, and it's very nice to invest into. So we get regeneration. Then you could ask, like, why I'm pathing through this. This one would save me 1 point. I just love Battle Hardened. I don't know. I just love this skill. Like 20% reduced critical damage bonus. That automatically means that crits that you're going to receive, unlucky crits from enemies, are way less dangerous. And on top of that, it gives you, you know, 20% armor. I mean, gives you just the tiniest bit of physical damage mitigation, but like 5 strength and dexterity too, which we need, by the way. I like this node. I like this node. You don't have to go this way if you don't want to. You can go this way, boom, and just get these two, skipping this also, and skipping this all combined. But I like this. I think it's worth to invest like 1 extra point just to get this. So I think this is worth it. So we're getting this here, and this is when we stop over here. Then for weapon set number 1, we go for block here, and for weapon set number 2, we continue going forward, and we get the damage against enemies on low life nodes. These are absolutely insane because they will give you. You know what? Let's just calculate here. So we have 90% here. We have 150, 195, 240, 285, 330% increased damage. With these, this is going to be even more, but this is 330% increased damage. For reference, only counting these, 330% increased damage. Most builds will have this amount of damage, increased damage on their builds, on the entire build. On the entire passive tree, they're gonna have about that much, right? So, I mean, if that's not ridiculous, then I don't know what is. And then on top of that, we have damage with hits is lucky against enemies that are on low life. This is especially useful if you have like a big window of damage on your weapon. There are weapons that have like a there's like a weapon that has 1.2 attack speed, two-handed mace, and it has low minimum damage and high maximum damage. This weapon is probably like the best weapon for this build because this lucky will mitigate the fact that it has low minimum damage, right? So this high maximum damage and low minimum damage, usually it would be whatever, but with this build, this is actually a benefit. So if you see this weapon, this is probably the best weapon for this build, by the way. So yeah, this is absolutely insane. Then we're going this way, back here. We're getting this. I tested many different and when I say that, trust me, I kill Xesht since patch 0.1 like hundreds of times at this point. And I tested, I did dozens of times this season. I tested this. This actually is the highest. If you have really not much else to invest into damage-wise, for example, in comparison, instead of investing these 4 points into damage, I could get like, I don't know, these 4, right? These 4. And at the end of the day, these still do more damage than these, for example. Or, I don't know, these. You know what I mean? They just do more. Because you gain this physical damage as extra fire damage. Almost all of our damage is physical from weapons. It's not going to be the same for every build, but for me it is. Because I have decent fizz on my weapons. And then it gets converted, all of this gets converted to fire. So it's not before the conversion, it's after the conversion. Right? I mean, you get the damage bonus before the conversion. So you will get that physical damage as extra fire, and it will work just fine. So, yeah. Nothing is wasted here, and Burning Strikes work really well. Nothing, I repeat, nothing that I tested, not a single combination, was doing more damage than this one. This was the highest one from all the tests. Now, of course, you have also these two small nodes, 42% increased damage with hits against burning enemies. Guess what? You pretty much always fight against burning enemies because they're gonna get ignited from Leaf Slam, and bosses will get ignited always from Solar Orb. So this is just, it's good, guys. It's good. It's not like this does like so much more damage. It's like by far the best, but it's only 3 points and strength. These 3 points do more damage than these 4 points, for example. So I'm going here. I take this, and that's all there is to it. Now we're going here. We're taking these nodes over here. This one is going to be for weapon set number 2. This one for weapon set number 1. Going this way, getting down bending. Some people could say, if you're doing like maximum damage setup, why you take this? Stun threshold is never a bad thing. On top of that, you get these very potent strength nodes and 3% life. I like this cluster, so I take it. Resolute technique, very nice. No need to talk about this anymore. I even talked about it during the gems, right? Going in a straight line, boom, going here. This is a very, very good cluster, especially if you're investing into aftershocks. These damage with maces nodes are very powerful, and then you get even more powerful damage nodes. Then you get this. This is very good for mapping. Not necessarily amazing versus bosses, but if you stun bosses very easily, for example, if you have a lot of stun buildup on your weapons, just by accident, then you can utilize that into bosses too, I guess. Into pinnacle bosses even. You can stun them eventually. So, especially if you use, what do you call it? Overwhelming Presence. So, yeah, very good cluster. Then, I guess, we're going to talk about that later. Avatar of Fire, I don't know why so many people say that. I know why, because PoE doesn't say so. But Avatar of Fire is absolutely, I don't want to say insane, it's just like every single combo. The reason why Avatar of Fire is so strong is not because of what it does by itself, is because of these weapons and the increased elemental damage with attacks with these weapons. That's why it's so strong. By itself, it's already okay. Because converting all your damage to fire and then fully utilizing the penetration and stuff like that, and like gems and stuff, this is already good. But what it makes it like super good is the fact that you have this wed on weapons, and this is not even the highest tier wed. It rolls up to 139. I'm telling you right now, guys, I tested different combinations of damage against Xesht. I was testing also no Avatar of Fire. I was doing garbage damage without Avatar of Fire. I truly was. And yes, that is including Infernal Cry. That gives you so much fire damage, right? So my penetration was not wasted, and I was still doing much less damage without Avatar of Fire because of the wet and all these multipliers that I'm talking about. Avatar of Fire is just the best, period. If you want to do crazy, crazy damage, Avatar of Fire is the best with these weapons. With elemental damage with attacks. It's just too much. It's just so much. Like, on a build that is not like, for example, on Will Smith, that doesn't have all of these low life nodes, and on top of that has less damage from these small nodes also, because no hulking form, right? As we established, we always take that on Titan, right? Like, on Will Smith, like, having two of these is going to be like 50-60% more damage. It's absolutely mind-boggling how huge the damage boost is going to be. It's stupid from this one modifier. It's still not as big as +2 level of melee skills, but +2 level of all melee skills at least comes with a huge downside, which is your leap slam or skills will cost 1k life. But this is just for free. It's like Avatar of Fire is so good. For the current state of the game, Avatar of Fire is amazing. Period. Sorry, nobody's gonna tell me otherwise. Then we have we're going over here. Blood magic, obviously, no questions about it. It feels really good with the regeneration on top of that with this build, because we don't really have to worry about life costs anymore thanks to regeneration. So that just feels very nice. Then the melee damage with hits at close range. You could think if you could do that maybe a little bit better and put these points from weapon set number 2, but I was thinking about it for a long time, and I legitimately don't think that I could change, I could make it any better, right? I don't think so. I have to think for a very long time to realize if I could do it like differently, but I don't think so. I think that how I did it is the best, but feel free to argue. I'm 100% open to criticism, right? If you could do this passive tree a little bit better. Then we're going this way. Of course, strength. The reduced maximum mana doesn't count because because we don't care. Blood magic. So we're taking this node. I'm not going to change my opinion from last patch. This node is still underwhelming, but for 1 point, since we're pathing through these, 18 strength for a point is a lot. So we have to take these. So like, might as well take this at this point, right? This is still, for a strength stacker, this is not an impressive amount of damage, but we still have to take it, right? They should buff it to 1% increased damage per 10 strength. They really should. Next, Giant's Blood. No questions needed. Then we're taking the Rage also. Then we're going this way. Smoke Inhalation. I think these nodes are very nice. Some fire penetration. 24% fire penetration for 2 points is very good. And then 30% increased damage with hits against burning enemies. As we established before, enemies that we hit are almost always burning. So, and bosses are always burning. So this is a very nice node, generally speaking. For 4 points, this is like a very, very good cluster. I do believe that this is the only cluster that I have for penetration, and that's enough. Because for bosses, we have Solar Orb and Flammability when it comes to reducing their fire resistance. And for mapping, that's just enough. That 24% penetration is just enough, right? We do a lot of damage, so we don't need more. And then Iron Reflexes, you could argue about that. I allocated it when I still had like more evasion, and I mean, 700 armor for 1 point. I mean, you could argue, you could actually drop this if you wanted to. I'm not going to be making changes and like updating my mobilytics just to remove that, because it's not useless. Like 800 extra armor is going to help you a little bit against small hits. Even against big hits, it's going to reduce the damage by 1 or 2%. So it's not useless for 1 point. 800 armor for 1 point is okay, but you don't have to take this. You don't. Hold on a second. So we're going this way. There is a small improvement I just realized you potentially could do, but that's a stretch. Because this is a 20%. Nah, that's a. Nah, never mind. No, this is the best still. Never mind. I was thinking if you could drop this with this also. So drop 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and get this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? But I think this is going to be virtually almost the same. I think you could get like 10% maybe increased area from this. Like literally just the tiniest bit. I have to check. And these points for weapon set number 2, where could you put them? Penetration maybe? Maybe, no. I have to think, to be honest. It is possible that, of course, you would lose armor too, but it is possible that I just figured out like a tiny, small optimization, like the tiniest one. But yeah, I have to like test it out. I'm gonna let you guys know if I'm going to find an improvement. I'm gonna update my mobalytics, right? And then for weapon sets, we have, of course, the weapon set number 1, we invest as much as possible into area. So area here, area and block is the name of the game. So area here, block here, block here, a little bit of area here, just 1 point for 30%, very nice area. And block somewhere else, I think. The thing is that you need very little block. Like, look how crazy it is. This cluster here, these 3 points, and these 3 points, and this cluster over here that gives me a lot of damage at the same time. Only these points that I mentioned give me 74% block chance. Just because it's very easy to get very high block chance, maximum block chance on your shield. Like if your starting point is 45%, you don't really need a lot of block to get 75% block chance. And the thing is, you can get even more than that if you find one with corruption. You can also get 46 without corruption. With 46 without corruption, you'll be capped. So that's really cool. Like really, really cool, actually. Yeah, but generally speaking, weapon set number 1 is block and area. That's all there is to it. This, we have this, then we have this. One thing I need to talk about though. We have this over here, these 2 points here, and we have this area over here, and I think that is it. The thing is that I dropped these points completely. I think this is an improvement, generally speaking, because that allowed me to drop 3 points that were on global passive tree, because I didn't have more weapon set 2 points. So I dropped these completely, and that allowed me to invest into this cluster. Generally speaking, I think that these 3 nodes on global, gives you more damage than this node. I'm pretty sure that they do. They just feel better. So I think that was, generally speaking, an improvement. It was not worth it to go all the way here, because there is a lot of block in the starting area for warriors. So yeah, I fixed it this way. And then of course for weapon set number 2, we have what? We have damage. We have damage. You're gonna see a theme here. We have damage, low life damage, of course. These nodes also are freaking insane, 120%. And then we have this, very good, because pretty much every single attack that we're going to unleash against the boss is going to be empowered. So very good. This is also nice. Damage with reduced attack speed, not a big deal. I think it's worth it. This, again, damage for attack speed is good. And that's about it. You see the point, right? The weapon set number 1 is shields into area, and the weapon set number 2 is just raw pa. Yeah. And we're going to talk about jewels real fast. I think there is one semi-mandatory jewel, the most important one for this build, excuse me, is from nothing. Passives in the radius of unwavering stance can be allocated. The reason why it's so important is because this solves the need to path towards here, and at the same time you can invest some points into these regeneration nodes, which otherwise you have no more access to regeneration. Like easily, you don't have. I even took the there's like this cluster over here. There's this, right? You could on paper like take these 2 if you didn't have access to this, sure. But this is also a very good notable, because this is a 15% increased life recovery rate. So this is a multiplier. This is way stronger than, for example, a single one like this. And on top of that, this life recovery rate also works on your flasks. Life recovery rate mod is like, no matter how you want to recover your life, it's a multiplier. You'll get like a 50% boost. So it doesn't matter if it's from leech, life leech, which we don't use, or from flasks or from regeneration. you will get 15% boost, period. So this is pretty good, right? And on top of that, we have access to these. Like, this is just really good. It's not going to be the end of the world if you're not going to have this. It's not. You will not take this. Instead, you will take these regeneration nodes and maybe something else. I don't know. And instead of these three, you're gonna lose some damage. But like instead of these three, you're gonna get some other damage nodes. It is what it is, right? You're gonna get these, right? You're gonna lose a lot of damage, but it's not like you're gonna start hitting all of a sudden for like 2 million from 22. You're gonna start hitting for like 18 million instead of 22, right? It's not going to be the end of the world, but something to keep in mind, right? I think this is important. Then what I'm using is Prism of Belief with Rolling Slam. I'm going to talk about this. I have two. When I was testing them one by one, I was just buying them, and this is my one Rolling Slam, one Prism of Belief. The second one is +3 to level of all Leap Slam skills. Excuse me. So I have two. I do this against bosses. I do this one against for mapping. You don't need either of those. You can literally just get a rare jewel and just don't even think about swapping or anything like that. You don't need that. This is something that is going to give you like an overkill damage or something like that. This is something that you want to do stupid builds like trying to one-shot pinnacle bosses or something like that, like me. Don't be like me. You don't need these. If you have nothing to do with currency, if you want to invest more and like get to what I was saying before, like Sunder is 100 200 million damage Sunder, then you'll have to get stuff like that. But you don't need this for general gameplay. You will never need that much damage. So something to keep in mind, boys. Alright, and the last one, Megalomaniac. Megalomaniac, as always, if you can find a cheap Megalomaniac with good stats for your build, then you should always go for it, because it's going to be better than a rare. If you can't, then it's totally fine. Just go for a rare. I have a pretty decent one. I have Exposed to Inferno. I didn't even buy it for a lot. I bought it for like three divines, I think. And there's many good ones. I saw many good ones for like 1, 2, 3 divines, by the way. But I have Exposed to Inferno, which is pretty nice. Another really good one is Cremation. And Freedom of Movement, which is like this. This actually nerfs the Vision mod a little bit, the temp chains. The Vision is not as strong with this modifier. And on top of that, this 10%, I also have like 15% from here, right? Yeah, so I have 25% reduced effect of temp chains. So I can actually run temp chains mod on this build. So that's pretty cool. Other than that, it doesn't do anything. And I have Internal Bleeding, which is this one, which is basically 30% increased damage on empowered attacks. So it's nothing too special. It's not much different. If it was just literally just exposed to Inferno, it will be almost the same. But yeah, that's about passive tree. Holy smokes, this takes this video. We're gonna break record or something, guys. All right, so weapon set number 1. Now that I realized that I talked about the shield version, I didn't talk about the two-handed weapon version. But here's the thing, like two-handed version, the only difference, literally, is that you drop all the block nodes and you invest them into AoE. This AoE here, this AoE here. That's literally it. You don't do anything else. If you want to run without a shield, with 200 weapons, with like maximum damage setup, even while mapping, then you just drop this cluster, this, and this. And you invest all of that into this area, and this. And that's it. And you can invest one more point here, this one. And that's it. That's all you do. That's the only difference. It really is the only difference. Which is kind of cool how easy it is to all of a sudden swap to a second setup. I have to say, I did that pretty good. It's crazy. It's all the items are the same. You just swap weapon, you just swap a few passive points, and you have different build. Well, not different build, but a different setup. That's kind of cool. Anyway, items. We're gonna start with weapons. As always, +2 level of melee skills. So far. Right now in this game, melee skills scale insanely hard, boys. for warriors at least. I haven't checked everyone, but for warriors, they scale insanely hard. +7 to all melee skills modifier is going to be the best. The most important one after that is increased elemental damage with attacks. Yes, even on Titan. I said that it's not going to be the most important, not as important as on Will Smith, which is true, but it's still, in my opinion, better to get high elemental damage with attacks mod instead of high physical damage. I'm dead freaking serious. It's just that strong. It's that strong, guys. And it's even stronger for mapping, because for mapping, you're not going to utilize these nodes, right? You're not. You have way lower damage, percent increase in total. So for mapping, this works even better. It's not as crazy on bosses, but you know, whatever. And then at the end of the day, at the end, last but not least, you try to get as high flat damage as possible. Of course, the best one is fire. If you can get like +7 skills, 120 increased elemental damage with attacks, and high flat fire, then you're golden, right? But high physical is obviously going to be the best late game because it scales the hardest. So the percent physical damage multiplies the flat you get on your weapon. So it's the best late game, but it's gonna be very expensive. You're gonna have something like this, weapons like these, you're golden forever, right? And of course, I allocated increased skill speed in both of them because I think these runes are fantastic. It feels way better with the skill speed. Even the shield version, it doesn't feel with these skill speed runes, it doesn't feel that slow. For the area that we have, it doesn't feel that slow. And this is what, keep in mind, this is with 0 attack speed invested. I could easily, if I wanted to, drop like anything whatsoever, like literally anything, and invest few points into attack speed. It will feel much faster. So something to keep in mind. So that's when it comes to weapons. Shield is, you're not gonna maybe you're not gonna believe me, but this is a 10 exalt shield. It cost me 10 exalts. The most important stat by far you need here is increased block chance. Period. Then you're just trying to get life, strength, and additional physical damage reduction. I think are the best stats. But the most important stat is high block chance. So you have to spend less passives on the block to reach the block cap. That's the entire point. One thing I need to mention though is that, damn it, I forgot what I wanted to say. Right, do not get resistances on a shield. Do not. If you're gonna get resistance on a shield, you're gonna swap to like weapon set number 2 to kill a boss. All of a sudden, you'll be sitting at 40 fire resistance or something, and you're dead in one hit always. Don't do this. Don't get resistance on your shield. Get resistance on other pieces. On the shield, don't get res at all. Right? Just life. Just increase your life pool and as high block as possible. Additional physical damage reduction is fine as well. Next up, armor. Armor is very simple. Just life, strength, lightning resistance. What is important? I'm going to say it now for once. You should get 2. One might be a little bit too low, depending on how much you want to scale the plus skills. But you should get 2 life regenerations in all of your rare items. So, for example, this and this, right? That gives me 61 life regeneration flat per second, and that is like super enough. That is super good. If you're gonna have like a life regeneration on your chest and, for example, belt, also super nice. But on 2 pieces of your gear, you should have life regeneration. If you're gonna have like on 1 piece of gear, it's not gonna be a big deal. You're still probably gonna have enough regeneration, but preferably just to be safe, you should get 2 because the degen from gloves is just gonna keep on ticking. So regeneration is pretty important, right? Other than that, life, strength, resistance. Belt, life, strength, resistance. Keep in mind the region. Boots, life, strength, resistance, and try to get some movement speed. Jewelry is a little bit different. Jewelry, what is, I think by far, well, maybe not by far, but what is very important is all attributes here. At least 20 or above. Because all attributes, we have pretty low requirements for gloves. 57 dexterity and 52, I believe, intelligence. For flammability, yes. But this is a perfect spot. Like, amulets roll a lot to all attributes, and this is a perfect spot to completely cover all the needs that you have with your attributes. So all attributes on amulet, very important. Then the next one that is the most important is +2 melee skills, preferably +3. I have +2. And then stats like increased maximum life, it rolls up to 8%. That is very good. Something like life regen, you can get percent life and flat life. That is going to be tons of life. You can get resistance, stuff like that. This is going to be a very good amulet. Then rings. Rings are pretty important. Rings, you should probably get life, strength, as much resistance as possible. This is your spot where you want to like fill your resistances up, right? These are the two spots. But what is very important is that if you don't have very high damage on your weapons, let's just say you have +7 skills and 120 increased elemental damage with attacks, but 0 damage. Rings are a perfect spot where you can make up the damage loss on the weapons and still get a lot of damage. This is a perfect spot because this rolls up to 45 fire damage. My rings are actually, by the way, my rings are not that great. Just saying that right now. So a lot of this gear I bought for like 1 divine or less, shield for 10 exalts, this amulet for 2 divines, and I just stopped upgrading. I just never checked again. So you can get like something better than, you can get better, definitely better gear than I have. And the fire damage to attacks rolls up to 45 maximum with fire quality. That's going to be like 54. That goes on both weapons. That is absolutely insane amount of extra damage that you'll be getting. So getting very high amount of flat damage. Fire is the best, keep in mind, because fire does not get converted, so you get 100% of that fire literally added, right? So this is like a great place to get extra damage. Like, even if you're going to have low damage on your weapons, but you're going to have the most important stats, which is wet and plus skills, and the fire damage on the rings can carry your build, can carry your damage entirely. So keep that in mind. Other than that, you want, once again, resistances, life, strength. And then we have unique items. So for Deepest Tower, I think this is pretty cheap. It didn't go through the inflation process that other builds, other items that I recommended went through, thankfully. We have Deepest Tower with increased life regeneration rate, corruption. I think this one is the best. I don't know how expensive it is, but it shouldn't be that bad. That being said, if you can get increased life regeneration rate, just get a clean one, or with like a different good corruption. I don't even know what corruptions are on helmets, but I bet there is something useful there. Keep in mind that it's quite important to get high chaos resistance on both of these items. Because if you're gonna get high chaos resistance on both of these items, then you just need chaos resistance on a single item, and you're pretty much chaos capped. So that's very nice. It's pretty cool that these items have chaos resistance, because chaos resistance, generally speaking, is a pain in the ass to get. So yeah, Deepest Tower, this allows us to. You can't really change that. If you're not using Deepest Tower on this build, that will be a different build. Period. So all these low life nodes, and on top of that, we can use the 50% more damage multiplier from Execute. That's just insane, right? This is one of the reasons why we're doing so much damage. And then you have Death Articulated. Guys, I know. When I bought them a week ago, a little bit over, they were 3 divines, and that was a good roll for 3 divines. I could buy for 2. Now they're like 20 divines. I know. But I have good news. I'm not going to talk about is it me or is it someone else? Is it my fault? No. I think that this is just BS, by the way. I think that this is just inflation. It's not because of me. But you can replace them. You can replace them, and that will come with some negatives, but also some positives. So number one, you're not going to need to care about degen that much, which means that if you can't afford these gloves on paper, you could drop some of the regen nodes because you don't need that much anymore and invest them into damage. That's kind of cool, right? You can't disagree with that. That's kind of cool. Secondly, these gloves obviously don't have +2 melee skills. You can get +2 from here. That is a lot of damage. So that's also cool. It's like if you're going to get rare gloves with life, chaos resistance, and +2 melee skills, maybe something else on top of that, that's going to be really cool. Here is the problem. These gloves are still insane. rare gloves will not beat these. I know some of you might come and say, oh, you can still get maximum rage before the boss if you just stand on top of this orb for like 2 days or something, right? You're gonna keep on getting rage. Yeah, what if boss teleports and you're gonna lose all that rage? Like, you can't make that argument. These gloves are just too good. The fact that you can use Rage Forged and not giving a crap. That this is by itself. This is like a damage multiplier. This is extra damage you're getting strictly because of these gloves. And on top of that, you can easily put these rage nodes here, which normally I wouldn't do, to maximize your rage even further. These gloves are just good, guys. It is what it is. They're just good. I think they're even better for mapping. I think for mapping they're even better, because for mapping you're not always going to be sitting at maximum rage, certainly not at 47. Even if you invest points into rage generation, you're not going to be sitting at that much, right? Even if you invest these two. Like with this, you're permanently full. Like this is like you're just getting straight up 80% more damage while mapping, without having to worry about rage at all. And then they're also good against bosses. It's just, I don't know what to say, guys. These gloves are just freaking cracked, man. They're good. You're not going to, the build is not all of a sudden going to collapse just because you started getting because you got +2 gloves with like life and chaos resistance. No, it's gonna work, but these gloves are good. I think they're best in slot, but you know, it is what it is, right? So they're not mandatory though. This is mandatory, but this is cheap. This is expensive and it's good, but it's not mandatory. You can replace them, and then you probably want to replace these rage nodes as well. These 5 nodes, you want to get something else. And by something else, I mean you're just gonna drop these and probably put 5 points in here for damage, right? And that's it. And about that being it, that's literally it. I think I talked about everything I wanted. 1 hour 7 minutes. Thank you very much for watching, guys. Let me sorry, I can't even speak anymore. I just talked so much. Let me know down in the comments if you have any questions. I'm going to read all the comments. I'm going to be streaming. I'm not going to be streaming today. I just don't have time anymore. But I'm going to be streaming tomorrow on Twitch, so you can also ask questions on Twitch about this build or any other, like Will Smith also or something. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for support. Next build is going to be a Warbringer with spears. We're going to go for some bleed action finally, because since the release of the early access of this game, I haven't done bleed a single time. It's time to change that, and that will be interesting because I saw that the Herald of Blood, the bleed herald, scales with area modifiers, so that's going to be interesting to do that on a Warbringer. So yeah, thank you very much for watching, guys. See you next time. Bye bye.